All right, so my next guest asks, is Stagflation the new Transitory? Let's bring in marketgauge Managing Director Michelle Snyder. Michelle, just so the audience understands stagflation, because they keep hearing this spooky word. What is it? Gross domestic product, the economy going down. Unemployment is going up. Demand is going down. That's stagnation. But here's the thing. Here's the inflation part of it. Prices are high and keep going higher. Now, listen, in the FOMC meeting, Jay Powell just completely said there's no stag, there's no inflation. It's hard, though, not to suggest maybe it is lingering out there, the possibility, right?
Well, that's exactly why I say maybe that's the new transitory, because it could be, that Dow protests too much, but we're seeing all the signs of it, particularly as we've gone through this earnings season, with the projections going forward of people really saying that the bottom line is being impacted by rising costs and less demand for that particular product. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's proof right there.
All right, so let's say we're in that environment or something very close to it. You say the biggest sector to watch this week will be the transportation index. Now, there's a lot of ways of watching it. You happen to like the iShares transportation. IYT, folks, is your symbol. Right now, it's between the 50 and 200-day moving average, sort of in a no man's land. What are you looking for? What are signals that you're looking for here?
Well, first of all, it is underperforming the rest of the market if you're looking at the overall indices, for one. For two is it hasn't really gone anywhere. And the consumer market also is starting to decline as well in certain pockets. So there's actually a lead indicator. It's the Transportation Services Index. And right now, that thing peaked a few years ago and hasn't really come back since. So if that starts to decline, and 130 would be, I think, the key area, that would actually even be below COVID levels, then that kind of tells you that maybe even not stagflation, but even the possibility of recession back on the table. So right now, it's warning, but it's certainly not critical,
right.
And that's why the eyes are there.
I got to get your thoughts on the rates, the Fed, all of this stuff. And I'm going to ask you, Treasury, raising $125 billion to, of course, help fuel this runaway government spending. Yesterday, we saw some little bit of tough sledding with this $42 billion 10-year note auction. The win issue was 4.483. Win issue was 4.473. The high yield was 4.483. 1 basis point. There was less international demand. So, people wonder why, the bond yields aren't going down. I wonder why they're not going up even more. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think maybe the policy mistake might have been the pause for so long, because at these levels, what we're seeing is the interest rates cannot control the demand for raw materials that we're seeing from some of the newer places, like the whole AI revolution, of course, has tremendous demand on our resources, and there's just not enough. So these rates are basically been ineffective at these levels.
Right.
And I think that's why we're going to stay in this range. And that's not necessarily, I know a lot of people are jumping into bonds. I would not necessarily be doing that at this point.
Hey, I only got 30 seconds, so I've got the symbols of 4 of the names you like: SYM, ELF, ELF, MP, and Urban. I just want to ask you, SYM, I'd never heard of it before. It just came on my radar, I think, last week. Made a really nice move. I'm starting to watch it right now. What do you like about it?
Well, it's Symbotic is the company. They do automation, and so obviously that's another thing in the future. But also it really reflects a lot of the reshoring and a lot of money that has come back into this country as opposed to trying to do so much outsourcing. And that company's a big benefit from it. So I liked where it was technically, and then it had earnings and it gapped up. So if it settles here around current levels, I think it's still a good buy.
All right, in full disclosure, I've got subscribers in ELF, and they're going to report soon. Fingers crossed, Michelle. Hey, it's been too long. Thanks. Great seeing you.
Thanks. Nice to see you.
All right, folks, as elections...